guys. So today I'm like super duper stoked. Like I came to school this morning like en fuego. So excited about this. Ask my first hour. I've been this jacked up like all day about this. So do you all have your boss book? You don't really like need it, but if you have it, take it out. Boss. Take out the boss. Okay, so check it out. We're gonna take like a little tour because I have lots of things on the board, as you can see, right? So checking out what we're doing today, right? We're gonna use research, like I asked you guys to investigate Mike Royko a little bit, right? So how many people did? Okay, all right, okay, good. So you'll have a good starting point. If not, where do you think you could find some research? On the interweb, right? So you have your Chromebooks once we get rolling here. So if you don't have your Chromebook, go ahead and get it. Kind of close.
I'm like in a corner, I just don't want to get up.
Are you feeling any better?
Guys, he died from his brain.
Spoilers.
That is so upsetting.
Wait, he died.
Oh yeah, so that's like.
I knew he died. I just didn't know.
Okay, so we've got our Chromebooks. All you really need today is Chromebook and Boss. Everything else can go away so that you don't get mixed up. Okay, so if you need to explore further with stuff about Mike Royko or Richard Daley or whatever, use your Chromebook, okay? But basically we're trying to draw conclusions about this author in order to figure out sort of like what he's all about, right? So what we're gonna do, this is the exciting part, okay? So I was like, okay, we're gonna read this book and we're gonna annotate, and then I was like, how can I like make annotating more epic, right? Because we can all agree that your teacher's like, oh, you gotta annotate. You guys are all like, right? Yeah. So I invented this thing today, and I even gave it a cool name. It's on the front board. Twittertations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah! I'm so excited. Okay, so thanks for sort of laughing at this yet. Okay, so anyway, our goal is that we are going to, as a class, I already sort of created it, but you guys are all going to join, a believable Twitter page for Mike Royko. Okay, we're going to like make a Twitter page. And based on the valid sources and the stuff that you guys find, we're going to like build our tweets about him and his page and stuff. And then this is where our annotations for the text are going to live. It's going to be like a shared experience, right? So that everybody doesn't have to annotate for everything every single time, but you do need to be paying attention to all the different pieces while you read, and it just kind of makes it like a little bit more like real and fun and cool and stuff. So we're Twittertating.
Okay,
That's cool.
I got this weird message. It was like your contact AP Royko is on Twitter. I'm like, who the heck is this?
Oh, it's probably
It
because
makes
it's connected
so
to me.
much sense now.
It's probably because it's connected to me, and
That
you
was
follow
so
me on my regular Twitter.
Yeah.
That's why.
That was so
Okay,
cool.
so now you get it. Okay, so then based on these two things, guys, like, why do you think we're doing this while we're reading this text? What could this, like, how does this matter in general?
Makes reading more fun.
Well, that's true. Yeah. What do you like know at a basic level about Mike Royko as an author? Like, what kind of author is he?
He's very outspoken.
He's a journalist, right? He's an outspoken, like, saucy journalist guy, right? So if we're talking about journalists and we're reading a book, what do we need to think about? Why should we be aware of research about this person?
To see his biases.
Heck yes, yeah. So this matters because journalists, right, have bias, as they should. And how is he going to use that bias while we're reading a book about Richard J. Daley, right? Like, you don't want to take his story as fact, right? So understanding where Royko's coming from and his relationship to Chicago and Richard Daley and all this stuff is really important so that you guys can, like, critically analyze why did he write this book, right? So what does it have to do with this class or, like, life in general? If this matters because journalists have bias and therefore, what? rhetorical analysis. So like, what aspect of rhetorical analysis is it going to tie to?
Ethos, maybe?
Okay, sure.
Ethic?
Somebody else jump in and help JD. It's not just the JD show. The speaker is the journalist, right? What goes with that? Which is us as readers, right? And like Chicago. What else? Chicago. What else? What's the missing piece? Yeah. So can you tell me how this would matter for a purpose? Shirley?
Well, if he's biased towards Richard, then he's going to be saying like a lot of stuff about him, and it's going to make like the purpose of the book favor Richard.
Okay.
And if it didn't.
Yeah, so thinking about like the task of a journalist, they have like a story, right? They're given a story and they have to do something with it so that people buy copies of the newspaper or like subscribe to their page or they read it, right? Yeah? So he's like exposing a story. And then what does this have to do with you? Like in relation to other contexts besides just this book and this class. Like I love that you're thinking rhetorical analysis because it's totally the skills we're working on too. But like in general, what do you think? It's okay if you don't know yet. We might explore this through the class today. Anybody got any other ideas? Not yet? We do. Okay, so why does that matter? Okay, we're just guessing at this point. So we're gonna come back, okay? We'll come back to the like why this is important just in general later on. But looking at this at its most basic form, journalists have bias and you guys are practicing being critical about that bias, right? Yeah? So like we can pause there and then we'll build off of it. Okay? So what we're doing with our Twittertations is we are going to all join this Twitter handle. Like you guys will all become like, you know, moderators. Like you could tweet from him, okay? And then basically we're gonna design like what pictures he should have for his bio like pic and his like background pic and stuff. We're gonna write his bio based on the stuff that we found. Who would he follow? Right? Because like, you know, he's dead, but who would he follow if he was around today? Okay? And then we're gonna tweet as though we are him. Okay? So think about the things that you've discovered about Mike Royko and what he would possibly tweet about. Okay? So, and then I'll explain this because this is linked to your book, but let's get the page set up first.
Fan accounts for Richard.
So, everybody go to Twitter, please. Oh. Okay, disclaimer, friends, because I know sometimes you guys like to get silly. If you don't take this seriously and you make it into a big joke and it's inappropriate, the things that you're tweeting that are not tied to the purpose of this assignment, we will go back to sticky notes, annotations, and do it the old way. I wanted to have some fun, so prove to me that you can have fun like a mature adult person. Okay?
It's a good idea.
Okay, that is a good idea, JP.
No, I was just saying like this whole thing in general.
Oh, hey, thanks. I appreciate that. That's why I was so pumped up.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me if you can't figure out how to get on there. So the username is APRoyko11, right? And then this is the password if it prompts you for the password, APBoss11. If it needs an email, I made an email for us, Shifes, aplang11@gmail.com. And then it should let you in by then, okay? I also put these things in Google Classroom in case you like forget and you're trying to log in somewhere. But once you do that, you should be able to like add it to your phone. Password is APBoss11.
So we're not signing in on our Twitters.
You're signing in as, you can sign in as you and then add an account. That works too, either way.
I didn't know that you could like everyone could go on at the same time.
I didn't either until this morning, Christina.
That's why I'm like,
I
is this
know.
gonna work?
I'm learning something, right? It's pretty sweet. Yeah. So we can all like all 19. It's JP. JP's following us. That's awesome.
Can we block him?
Mute.
Okay. So you should be able to just log in as us, and like you don't have to go in through your Twitter first. You can, like, if you're doing it from your phone, you're logged in as your Twitter, and you just like add an existing account. And then if you know that you're gonna tweet from your phone for the assignment, you can add us. But if you know you're gonna do it from a computer, just worry about the setup. Okay? So flip your lids down when you're set up with like you're logged in and you're good to go. So that I know. What?
Like on your phone, like you don't know, like when you pull up.
You just have to look at the name.
Yeah, I'm really just going like, well, I tweet something really fast. You're like not thinking about the account that you're on, so you.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on AP right
Yeah, so I'm
That's really funny.
I want to.
Is anybody having any issues?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I know, it's like you don't have to go on it. Okay, so you go to Twitter and then you're gonna say, okay, you're good. Okay, go ahead and flip it back up. So we are going to assign tasks here, okay? So one group is going to be in charge of choosing because if you look, we have a really naked, sad Twitter page. This is lame, right? Nobody likes it when you're just the egg. You gotta be something more than the egg. So, listen guys. So we're going to choose his like little home pic and then his background picture. What do you think you should think about for these?
Picture of him. I feel like picture of him for at least the profile picture.
Yeah.
Why do you think he would choose that?
Because
Oh man, now you're putting me on the spot.
Because he's in politics, they're all absurd. Like,
Yeah, that
they're all
Okay.
full of themselves.
Okay. Yeah, like he wants to be, you know, like his little professional headshot, whatever.
And then a picture of Richard J.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so this group, you guys can be picture people because she's like halfway there. Okay. And then I need a group who's going to write up his bio.
Let's do it.
Okay, okay. I will have two groups that can map up. Well, actually, no, one. Just kidding. I'm lying. You guys can do who would you follow, and then these two groups, you guys can craft like a couple of opening tweets. What would he tweet like to kind of like get to know Twitter, right? Okay. So you don't need the full version. So you need to choose who you would follow based on what you know about him, right? Okay? Make sure all your choices are based on what you know about him, or if you need to explore more. You know, like,
Yeah, this is
shout out. You know, what would he have been doing on this glorious weekend last weekend? You know, like just give him a little personality to start based on what you know about him. Okay?
He's a guy.
Sierra, why are you searching on your phone?
Oh, I screenshotted.
Yeah, so like use your computer that's right in front of your face.
Just die.
Can I ask you to use the Chromebook? What about a more valid source than that? Or like look at some of the sources connected to it. Facts. He also has like living children too. Yeah,
I'm just gonna go look through his Facebook.
do it. Facebook might be, yeah.
I think the way he died is terrible.
Somebody in my first hour said that should be our last tweet. Which is like so morbid and tragic.
Help.
But we're not gonna go there. We're
Yeah,
gonna try
no.
to keep it positive, keep it red.
Ooh, see how many kids he has. Keep it red.
Keep it red. Keep it red, Mike Rico. Keep it red.
I kept it red this morning.
Because we are the journalists. We are tweeting from.
Are we tweeting?
We're following current beer.
No, well you could.
Yeah, part of
You will eventually. I'll get into more about like what the tweets are. But for right now, you're Mike Rico. And you're like
This is professional.
They're not yet.
Two kids.
Two
What, like this is
Alright,
more
so
like the
like
bio
father of
background
two.
about Freud.
And then that's your
Well, you're no, so you're like a step
and
back.
then we can also
That's
put
fine. Just
Trump
tweet
supporter.
from Mike Royko. What were you doing, you know, this weekend? Who's like cool in your life? What's exciting about you? We can make it personal. Yeah, go for it.
Damn.
I see that. I feel like it
Can you please live?
Location. Location.
Yeah, location. Hockey Park Cemetery. I'll do that one.
Wait, no, he has to be alive right now.
Oh, it's just believable.
I'll give you a picture of
I think we will figure out like what is normally the background picture for you.
Maybe it's.
Very blunt.
Say he graduated from right
Maybe, like, what do you have for your background picture right now? Why? Okay. So what would Mike Royal think is right?
Maybe some
Think he'd follow Uber Fix.
Like what as a person, right?
yeah, it's a little
Yes.
He went to right junior
Probably
college.
NBC.
Like the Wright brothers.
I'm talking about like not what he necessarily wrote about, but like him as a guy.
CNN.
Like research some stuff that he's into, right?
You like to satirize a lot?
Oh, you could say like the art, like the
I'm talking about like personality.
Wait, yeah, wait, that's good.
So you might need to hunt around a little bit.
And then put
Okay, probably.
Ron the man doesn't have a Twitter.
Did you guys research like some of his personality, like his interests?
Like the stuff that you write in the daily news.
Articles about and stuff like that? Like subject-wise? If you didn't, guess what? You can. You what? You would definitely not follow Kylie Jenner. Why do you think you would? Yeah, but that's not.
Oh, he got remarried.
White Royal,
He got remarried.
you have to be able to validate whatever you're saying you follow based on something.
I should have bought them before they won.
That's ridiculous.
He's a
Do
big.
some research, I guess. I was like, you haven't quite dug into. He is a big Cubs dude. Right. Oh, you know, you're right. Make sure that everything you're finding is tied to something that you found research about. We are drawing conclusions based on research. What is he tweeting about?
You can do like a throwback to the World Series wins.
You know, Flashback Friday.
Oh, I like
Okay, you know, like think about like what is he into, what would he be talking about as a whole person, and then we'll kind of filter down into the writing stuff when we talk about the book.
hard copies, all the cartons.
Dun, dun,
9
dun.
and 8 also.
Who'd you
I'll
add?
put Tubby's
Okay, I think that's
Oh wait, we
totally
could
fair.
write Richard J. Daly, my home.
He was definitely a
Are you gonna put like?
You know, I'll do.
Are you
I'll
gonna
do
put like the winner of
volunteer.
the Pulitzer Prize for
He
comics?
did, so maybe there's something about that that you could do.
He's like that hip.
It's
trying to be
my
Yeah, he wrote like
It was the.
about the couple. We're just waiting for me to say things. The whole point of this is freedom fighters.
What's his favorite color?
You like smoking.
How's the bio? You guys are my bio people, right?
Yes.
Okay, how's it going?
This team is. I'll put
Oh man,
birthday. He said, oh, we don't have room for pasta too.
alright, let's refresh our page to see where we are here.
No, we don't have any room.
Oh, get there! Look at this.
I'm gonna get
Hating the Yankees is an American is so bad. Unwed mothers and cheating on your income tax. Love
I
it.
bet you wish you won the Pulitzer
That's a
Prize.
quote from you.
Maybe we can conclude, like, Miss Charlie, you can include this on the stage.
I'm gonna put proud winner.
Yeah, well, you're gonna change the picture, but yeah, like the quote and all that stuff, you can tweet it. That could be a tweeted quote. stuff that he said.
He said it's much harder to be a liberal than
Oh, no.
conservative. Why?
Bully.
Because it's easier to give someone the finger than helping a hand.
He's a sassy guy. He's got strong opinions. That's why I thought it would be fun for Twitter because he's got a lot of sound bites.
Grego was a fervent devotee of 16-inch softball as a player and team
I'm
sponsor.
gonna just keep. Was the Chicago
I think it
Tribune
was
the most
the
important?
Made
yeah.
the 16-inch softball Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna put plus more.
Got a slightly blowy picture.
There. Okay.
So did you guys add it on your phones if you know that's where you're going to be thinking from?
Oh, wait,
four.
Yeah, pictures are going to be Twitter posts.
Anything else you want to do?
All three of you?
Birthday.
Yes,
Birthday in September.
Ricky, do you have this on your
Does he
phone?
love
Did you get it? What is this for you? The Grego Twitter account? You need two.
I need to tell you something. Last night I got hit really hard in the head. And
Cool.
but I had like a really bad headache.
We should make a link to one of his journals.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd let you know I wasn't
'Cause I feel
able to
like he
get
would do
it
that.
last night.
Chicago.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to get everything done.
Okay, so, because the only thing that was due today is your feedback chart. So if you can, like,
I just know I'm a little
you were
bit
like
behind.
pretty close to done with that though.
Looks
So
good.
take a look at it and then see if you can post that.
I'm just
Please
looking at
open
that
it
right
up.
now.
You're only really doing chapter one.
Wait, but
So
you
you
can
can tell me like a couple pages, but if you have like you need to follow the rules for that.
I feel like
Your brain is.
Yeah, I checked in with Mark.
would he let me
and
come on his
said,
birthday?
right now it's a no, but they
But just, yeah, because a lot of times they tell you like minimal screen time and like. Just try to, you promise you follow up with them again today.
Sent me in for like the other day.
Like that, your practice. Okay, so yeah, keep on that and then just like if your dish is like you stop and like try to stop doing stuff.
So I was gonna like,
There's not too much.
I was just gonna do a lot, yesterday.
And then, yeah, honestly, that's probably smart.
Alright, I just thought I'd let you know.
Okay. Yes, I appreciate that. So add the Twitters though to your phones if that's the place where you're gonna be looking from, because that's how you're gonna submit
Just take
annotations.
a picture of like all the well, I don't have any.
It's okay. Rate your one.
What is
Word?
Did you guys all?
Yeah.
I didn't
get
the
the
Can you make those dots?
I know. Like how you're gonna submit your annotations for the book. When you listen to the recording, how you're submitting your annotations for the reading assignments is Twitter. So you can totally tweet from a computer, but I know sometimes you do it on your phone. So you just like add an account, add an existing account, if you look at little people. Little heads. Yellow power people. Next to edit the file. Yeah. More options. Yeah, you can add an account. And then you just click on that same logo to switch back and forth between you. Are you gonna do it on the computer? Yeah. Just make sure you know how, because this is how you're gonna turn in your annotations.
For some
Okay.
people,
So you just added it, if you're gonna do it from your phone?
change it to
I try to have like 1 out of 5 tweets. So.
I will tell you what to do for that part, I just wanna make sure you can do the tweaking.
who was on the team? They are not organized.
Yeah.
Type whatever I want there.
Okay,
Hey.
are you guys kinda done with adding followers for right now, or do you want some more time to explore? I gotta reload it.
I'm looking at his interest right now.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so let's take like till 10 to 3, folks, to finish exploring and kind of adding stuff to the page. And then I wanna make sure I can explain to you like where we're going with the actual book and the assignment for that, okay? So take about 5 more minutes to explore and add whatever you need to for your Twitter task.
That looks pretty cool.
I know, we're kinda crushing it. Twittertations!
Yeah.
Are you so excited? I'm so excited.
Oh, yes, I got the right.
He dropped out of school.
Do you figure out how to add it?
No, I just had to sign out on my own. I couldn't find the right Twitter account.
You can just switch back and forth without signing out. I can show you. So there's like a little icon that looks like two people heads. Yep. And then you go to more options, and then you add an existing account.
Whoa! Okay, cool.
And then all you have to do is click on that same icon and make sure you select the one that you want to be tweeting from. So like, make sure you're not tweeting from yourself all the time through the Mike Royko one. Or even like liking stuff, you know. Watch out. Okay, so the rest of you guys are good as far as how to do that. You can definitely do it from the computer, but I just know that it's probably faster on your phone sometimes. He is. He should be. Is he not?
Following Clinton and Obama.
Should we make a suggestion to our following crew?
Yes. Oh, he is following Donald Trump. Yes.
Double trumps. Double trumps. I do agree. He would definitely follow them.
He should send some hate mail too.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
JP, that's great.
Jim Henderson is
Mike Royko is dead.
he's dead.
You should follow Mike Ryko.
Oh, I saw that.
Or not Mike Ryko. Richard J. Daly.
We have 3 followers.
Who's following us? Are they our students?
She didn't.
Steph, Christina, JP.
Nice. Yeah, you guys can follow us.
I'm gonna follow.
You can tell your friends to follow us if they want to know all the cool things that we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
You can tell your parents to follow us.
Like, I look to follow it. But now that I'm on Twitter,
Wait, should we follow back?
AP Royko,
Ooh.
Probably Mooney.
I know.
But now I'm on this similar. Follow.
My first hour is doing this.
Yeah, okay, this is not a same girl who's my social media.
We're gonna change the picture every day. So,
He'd be following politicians and stuff.
yeah.
He's following JP.
Oh no, I don't know.
Where? Because there may have been like reels on That's why he's interesting to start evidence, and I just want to see fired up on stuff.
You should follow Morgan Freeman.
Probably not. Frank's old times. All right. So let's all refresh our pages so that you can see everything. Wow, we've got 9 whole tweets, guys. Look at us go. Let's take a scroll. Check out how we did with our bio.
I love the
I love this. Richard J. Daly is my homeboy. Totally is. Living that Republican life. So true. Oh my gosh. Should we follow? No. So, this is so great. Represent hashtag Polish. So great. Oh my gosh. This is glorious. Okay, so first of all, great job, you guys. I think this is really cool. So this is like what we're gonna do for annotations for the text. Okay? So if you guys could flip your lids down so that we can all come up front to pay attention to like the assignment for this. Okay? So we did all this stuff, we set up this. I would like to change the like bio and background picture every day for class. So we can either like keep it with this crew because they've been like jamming on the pick searches, or if you find one, you can like, you know, suggest it or whatever. And then we can update any of the bio stuff or any of the like who he should follow, or like add tweets based on what you learn about him and his personality as you're reading his book, right? So we can like continue to build on this as we're going, right? But then the focus of what our Twittertations are doing is basically, like, normally when I assign an annotation assignment, I give you like categories you're supposed to be looking for, right? So the categories in this instance are going to be our hashtags, okay? So we've got 5 of them, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, right? So, so you're each going to be assigned a category for whatever chapter we're reading. So you need to be paying attention to this stuff because everybody's going to do the project, but I feel like it might be like saturated if we're all tweeting about everything, right? So you and your crew will be responsible for, like, just the 5 of you will tweet on one hashtag for the first chapter. Just the 4 of you will do, you know what I mean? Okay? So, and then it'll rotate around as we're reading.
Just one hashtag or one tweet?
Yes. Yep. So for your assignment, this is our little homework jam. Don't forget to post your thunder, resubmit your chart. For boss, I just want you to read one chapter and post 2 tweets for your group's assigned hashtag, and I'll give you the hashtags in a minute. Okay? So each person posts 2 tweets. Yeah. So like each one of you 4 will tweet 2 tweets with the hashtag that I assign you for that chapter. Okay? So like it's not an overwhelming amount of things. Now here's the trick. What do we know about Twitter?
160 characters.
Say that louder, Sierra.
160 characters.
That's 40.
Okay. So you are going to be tweeting quotes, right? Or like paraphrased things. And you have to decide what the most essential part of that quote is, right? This is really good practice for when you have to make that same decision when you're writing.
Blessing in disguise.
You're welcome. I'm full of blessings in disguise, JP. So if your quote that you want to tweet doesn't fit in that many characters, you have to get a little bit creative with what you're using, and you need to decide, do I need all of this quote, or can I choose the good parts, right? Like, what is the tweetable part, right? Like, you want it to be something that's like a punchline, right? Like, that's the whole point of Twitter, yeah? So that's what's important. You don't need to, like, put the page number necessarily, but you will have to put the hashtag with it. So most of them are, like, fairly short. If visionary is too long, you can just put vision. That's okay. And then Royco rant is kind of long, so if that's too long, you could do like rant or something, or RR or something like that. And then the last one is Chi-Town, My-Town, which is super long, but it's fun. So you could do CTMT. Okay. So what these are, does that like the system make sense? Yes, thumbs for me. The system makes sense. Okay. So what the topics mean, your project is going to be like a parallel, right? So within the text, he makes an analogy of like the power structure of Chicago politics to a machine, okay? And I'm like straight up telling you this. You don't have to figure that out for yourself. Another blessing in disguise for you, JP. So I want you to be paying attention for those elements of the analogy, because your project is going to be to come up with some other power structure, and you use that machine analogy to compare the 2 power structures. And like you use the same machine for both of them. And you get to come up with a machine, okay? So don't think too hard about that, because we're going to unpack all of that next week once we kind of get into this a little bit more. But you're looking for, whenever they're describing elements of this political machine, that would be a quote that's hashtag machine. Yeah, Abby?
So for the tweet thing, do we put the quote and then the hashtag and that's it?
Yep.
Or do we...
That's it. And then we're going to talk about them in class. So that's why I don't want to have a ton, because I want to be able to like talk about this stuff, right? Yeah, right? Thanks. I told you guys, I was like so excited when I thought about this. Okay, so everyone understand what the machine hashtag is for? Because you're going to eventually have to do all these hashtags. You need to know them all. Okay? The visionary hashtag, these are kind of like 2 sides of the same thing. So visionary versus tyrant. So Richard Daley is the mayor, right? And they paint him in a lot of different lights. So this is kind of coming back to what is Royco's agenda as a journalist, right? So he's going to show him in some lights as this visionary leader, and in other lights as this, like, you know, fist-pounding tyrant guy, right? And like Kelly pointed out, Mike Royko's not super like open-minded or nice, right? So consider that when you're looking at how Royko paints daily. Am I making sense? Yeah? So if you notice something where he's painting daily as a visionary, quote, hashtag visionary. If you notice something where he's painting him as this evil tyrant guy, quote, hashtag tyrant. You do not need to use quotation marks, by the way. That's a wasted character. We're going to all assume that all your tweets, for the most part, are quotes from the book. Okay?
Do we need to cite the page it's from?
What did I say about that? No, you don't have to apologize, but can somebody remind JD what I said about that? No. Okay, so visionary tyrant makes sense? Yeah? Okay. Royko rant. This is where it gets a little fun. So the book is from the voice of this journalist, right? He's got a lot of quotables, as you guys noticed, perusing some of his other pieces, right? So whenever he kind of goes off on his own tangent of things, and you find like a really great quotable from that, that would be a Royko rant, okay? This is going to be where you're going to find elements of tone and style. So we're looking at Royko's style, like writing style as a journalist and how he wrote this book, and the tone that he uses to like elicit, you know, emotions from the audience, right? He's trying to get us to feel something, okay? So the Royko rants are not just because they're fun, like one-liners. We're looking at the tone and like the purpose behind them, right? Okay? So Royko rant makes sense? Okay. The last one, Chi Town My Town, is fun because a lot of the stuff in this book has a ton to do with what Chicago looks like now. So Daley was a really influential mayor, and a lot of the like the names of buildings and the freeways and like the like physical structures and like Daley Plaza, hello, right? Like that kind of stuff. You're gonna see a lot of that take shape in the book. So whenever there's a mention of some aspect of Chicago, you can either do the quote or you can find a picture and then Chi Town My Town. Okay? So does that make sense? This one's like a little bit obscure. So I'm hoping that when you, like, how many of you guys go to the city ever? Sometimes? Well, if you haven't been, you should go because it's one of the world's greatest places and it's right around the corner. If you do go, this is going to change how you see stuff. It's totally different, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I read about where this came from in Boss. And you're going to be like, at @VShiv, hashtag Boss, right? Like all day, okay? So I'm going to be living in your brains all the time. You're going to be very excited. But it's cool because it like gives you some historical context a little bit, okay? So Chi Town, My Town makes sense? Yes? Okay. So looking at like your task, your Twittertations task, do we feel confident that we can be successful with how we're going to do our annotating? Yes? Mm-hmm. I'm hearing yes from most. I need all. I need all of the yeses in the party.
So
Machine is,
yeah, machine is the like metaphor between like the political power structure and an actual machine.
You got it.
Visionary and tyrant is how he's portraying the guy, Richard Daley.
You got it.
Royko rant is a quote from one of his rants, and Chi Town My Town is
You're crushing it, JD. You can bring it home with the last one.
history of Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You just nailed that. Okay. So I know JD's gonna rock at this because he just ran all that up. Okay. So then the last thing that we need to decide is what hashtag you are doing for chapter 1. Yeah? So I will come around and you're going to draw them at random and then we will create a rotation from there. Okay? So while I'm doing this, you guys can log out of your Chromebooks and start putting those away.
I was like, forget me.
Are these comparing? Dip 3.
It has something to do with politics, doesn't it?
my brain.
What? Is it right per group or two per person?
Per person, like tweet like random letters, like XXXGF.
Oh, are you talking about? I know, you guys have got me saying that.
It's so fun, right? Like it's two per person.
Two students. It doesn't. Oh, man.
Yep, one sentence.
Yes?
So the 2 tweets, is that per person?
Yep, per person.
John.
So I should see 10 tweets with that hashtag from one chapter.
Oh my god, it's like my mother.
All right. Your first hashtag is. That's what I got, Melanie. Screwed up.
Okay. Now you're just.
Hashtag what? What do you got? Hashtag machine. What do we got? What do we got? Hashtag
Royco Red.
Royco Red. What do we got? What do we got? Hashtag. Oh, visionary.
So when she's a good person,
And pick a hand. Hashtag. Should I tell my town, which means you guys are the tyrants. If I'm remembering correctly. Okay. So everybody knows what they need to be tweeting about. And you've got your sources and your Twitters and your phones and whatnot. Okay. Awesome stuff.